You absolutely need to watch this video to the end if you don't want every step you take to become increasingly difficult and painful as you age. For decades, we've all heard the same thing. Drink your milk for strong bones. It was practically the anthem of our childhood, wasn't it? That tall, cold glass of milk with breakfast was supposed to be our ticket to lifelong health. Our parents insisted, our doctors recommended it, and those "got milk" ads certainly made it look appealing. But what if I told you that the very milk you've been drinking faithfully all these years might actually be working against your body now? That's right. The scientific understanding of milk's relationship with our aging bodies has undergone a dramatic shift in recent years. Here's a startling truth many doctors aren't discussing. Certain types of milk might be silently damaging your bone health, heart, and even your brain after 60. That daily glass you think is protecting your bones? It could be doing exactly the opposite. I'm not saying this to frighten you, but to empower you. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which types of milk are actually safe for your aging body, which ones you should avoid completely, and how making one simple switch could dramatically improve how you feel every single day. The information I am about to share could be the difference between enjoying an active, pain-free retirement and facing increasing mobility challenges. It's that important. So grab a comfortable seat, but not your usual glass of milk just yet. And let's uncover the truth that food companies have been keeping from seniors for far too long. 2. Meet Linda, a real senior's wake-up call about her milk choice. I want to introduce you to Linda, a vibrant 67-year-old grandmother from Minneapolis who never missed her morning ritual, a hearty bowl of cereal with ice-cold whole milk. For Linda, that creamy whole milk was practically medicinal, a daily dose of calcium she believed was keeping her bones strong and her body healthy. "I've been drinking whole milk every single day of my adult life," Linda told me, her voice tinged with a slight Minnesota accent that warmed up our conversation. "My mother drank it. My grandmother drank it. It was just what you did for strong bones." Like many of us, Linda trusted in this generational wisdom. The richness, the flavor, it was comforting and familiar. A small daily pleasure she looked forward to each morning while watching the sunrise from her kitchen window. But at 65, something changed. It started with subtle aches in her hips when she'd get up from her favorite armchair. Then came the noticeable weakness when lifting her 3-year-old grandson, something that had never been a problem before. "I thought it was just normal aging," she explained, "until the pain started waking me up at night." During her annual checkup, Linda's doctor ordered a bone density scan. The results shocked her. Significant bone loss was already underway. Despite decades of faithful milk consumption, Linda was in the early stages of osteoporosis. "How could this happen?" she asked her doctor, genuinely confused. "I've been drinking milk religiously my entire life." That conversation became Linda's turning point. A moment of realization that what worked for her body at 30 might not be what her body needed at 67. "I felt betrayed, honestly," Linda admitted, her eyes showing a mix of disappointment and determination. "But mostly, I was scared. The thought of becoming frail, of not being able to pick up my grandchildren or tend to my garden, that wasn't the retirement I had planned." Linda's story isn't unusual. Countless seniors discover that despite following long-trusted nutritional advice, their bodies are sending distress signals. These signals aren't random. They're important messages that something needs to change. What Linda learned next about the relationship between whole milk and aging bones transformed her approach to nutrition. And her journey of discovery might just change your morning routine forever. 3. Why whole milk might be the worst enemy for your bones. After 60. Let's get right to the science. And brace yourself, because this might challenge everything you've believed about milk and bone health after 60. Recent research published in the Journal of Bone and Mineral Research has revealed something startling. The high saturated fat content in whole milk actually interferes with calcium absorption in older adults. Yes, you heard that correctly. The very substance you've been drinking to strengthen your bones might be preventing your body from using the calcium it contains. How exactly does this happen? Well, as we age, our digestive system undergoes significant changes. After 60, the body produces fewer enzymes needed to process dairy efficiently. The saturated fat in whole milk, which can make up to 3.25% of its content, creates a double problem. It forms compounds with calcium that are difficult for your aging digestive system to break down, and it promotes inflammation that can actively contribute to bone loss. Imagine this. Each time you pour that glass of whole milk, you're essentially sending a tiny demolition crew to your bone structure. The saturated fat acts like a calcium blocker, creating a barrier between this essential mineral and the bones that desperately need it. Dr. Rebecca Marshall, a leading osteoporosis researcher from Mayo Clinic, explains it vividly. For seniors, consuming whole milk is like trying to water a plant through a clogged pipe. The nutrition is there, but it's not getting where it needs to go, and it doesn't stop with your bones. That same saturated fat is silently building up in your arteries, increasing your risk of heart disease, which is already elevated after 60. A 15-year study following over 100,000 adults found that those who consumed whole milk daily had a 49% higher risk of cardiovascular issues compared to those who opted for plant-based alternatives. The most alarming part: this damage happens gradually, silently, until one day you notice that getting out of bed hurts more than it should, or that flight of stairs you've climbed hundreds of times suddenly seems impossible. If you don't reconsider this daily habit now, your risk of fractures and heart problems will accelerate faster than you can imagine. But here's the good news. Making a simple switch today could reverse this hidden damage and set you on a path to stronger bones and better health. 4. Dr. James Carter's advice. It's not your fault, but it's time to listen to your body. Let me share some wisdom from Dr. James Carter, a renowned geriatric nutritionist who has spent over 30 years helping seniors live their healthiest lives. I recently had the pleasure of speaking with him about this very topic. First, he told me with a gentle smile that immediately put me at ease. I want every senior to know that if they've been drinking whole milk all their lives, they haven't done anything wrong. The nutritional advice we received in the 1950s and 60s was the best science available at that time. But science evolves, and now we know better. Dr. Carter's approach is refreshingly compassionate. Rather than making his patients feel guilty about their dietary choices, he helps them understand the natural changes their bodies are experiencing. After 60, he explained, leaning forward in his chair, your body undergoes a fundamental shift in how it processes certain foods. The digestive enzymes that easily broke down milk fat in your 30s have diminished. Your intestinal lining has changed. Even your bone remodeling process, the way your body builds and maintains bone tissue, works differently now. He describes these changes not as a breakdown, but as an adaptation. Your body is actually trying to optimize for longevity, focusing its energy on essential functions. Think of it like updating the operating system on your computer, he says with a chuckle. Your body is running Senior Body 2.0 now, a more sophisticated system that requires different inputs to function at its best. Dr. Carter emphasizes that this isn't about deprivation, but adaptation. I'm not asking my patients to give up the comfort and nutrition of milk entirely, just to switch to versions that work with their bodies rather than against them. He recommends that his patients pay attention to how they feel after consuming different types of dairy. That slight bloating or discomfort you might have dismissed. That's your body sending important signals about what it can no longer process efficiently. Your body is incredibly wise, Dr. Carter reminds us. It has been adapting throughout your entire life. Now it's time for your food choices to adapt as well. This gentle perspective shifts us away from seeing dietary changes as a loss of pleasure and toward viewing them as an act of self-care, a way of honoring the changing needs of a body that has carried you through decades of life. 5. Meet Grace. How switching to goat milk changed her life after 60. Now I want you to meet Grace, a 72-year-old retired school teacher from Sacramento, whose story might just inspire you to make a simple change that could transform how you feel every day. 3 years ago, Grace could barely walk to her mailbox without excruciating hip pain. Her morning ritual of playing with her dog in the backyard had become impossible. Most devastating of all, she had to decline taking her grandchildren to the park, something that had previously brought her immeasurable joy. I felt like my body was betraying me, Grace told me, her eyes still showing hints of that remembered pain. The doctor said it was just part of aging. But in my heart, I knew there had to be something more I could do. Grace's turning point came during a chance conversation with her neighbor, a holistic nutritionist, who suggested she try something unusual, replacing her lifelong habit of cow's milk with goat milk. I thought she was absolutely crazy, Grace laughed, her entire face lighting up. Goat milk? That sounded like something from a health food fad, not a serious solution for someone my age. But, desperate for relief, Grace decided to give it a try. She replaced her morning glass of whole milk with goat milk and made the same switch in her cooking. The results were nothing short of remarkable. Within just 3 weeks, I noticed I wasn't reaching for the pain medication as often, she recalled. By 2 months, I was walking Rusty, my golden retriever, around the block again. And by 3 months, I was back to taking my grandkids to the playground. What made such a dramatic difference? Goat milk contains a unique fat structure that's significantly easier for seniors to digest. Its protein forms a softer curd in the stomach, allowing for better nutrient absorption. It's also naturally rich in selenium, a powerful anti-inflammatory that helps reduce joint pain and inflammation throughout the body. The best part, Grace says, her eyes twinkling, is that it contains more vitamin A and selenium than cow's milk. My doctor says those nutrients are crucial for maintaining a strong immune system as we age. Grace now starts each day with a small glass of goat milk blended with a handful of berries, what she playfully calls her youth smoothie. At her last checkup, her bone density had actually improved, something her doctor had rarely seen in patients her age. I'm not saying it's magic, Grace says, but it sure feels like it sometimes. Last weekend, I chased my 6-year-old grandson through the sprinklers. At 72, if that's not a miracle, I don't know what is. Grace's experience isn't unique. Mounting research supports that the right milk choice can make an extraordinary difference in how you experience your golden years. One simple switch, as Grace puts it, can change everything. 6. The hidden danger of flavored and sweetened milks. What you're really drinking. While we're talking about making healthier milk choices, there's another important warning I need to share with you, especially if you've developed a taste for flavored or sweetened milk products as a treat in your senior years. Those chocolate milk drinks, strawberry-flavored options, and especially sweetened condensed milk might seem like innocent indulgences, but they harbor a dangerous secret that could be severely impacting your brain health. A standard serving of flavored milk can contain up to 6 teaspoons of added sugar, more than half the daily recommended limit for seniors in just one drink. Sweetened condensed milk is even more concerning, with up to 10 teaspoons of sugar in a single serving. Dr. Melissa Wang, a neurologist specializing in age-related cognitive decline, explains the serious implications. The high sugar content in these milk products creates a cascade of inflammation throughout the body, but the effects on the aging brain are particularly troubling. Recent studies from the Journal of Alzheimer's Disease have found strong connections between high sugar consumption and accelerated cognitive decline in adults over 65. That innocent-looking chocolate milk might actually be speeding up memory loss and increasing your risk of developing what some researchers now call type 3 diabetes, a term describing the relationship between insulin resistance and Alzheimer's disease. We're seeing patients who consume sweetened dairy products regularly, showing measurably faster rates of cognitive decline, Dr. Wang notes. The inflammation caused by these high-sugar products affects the hippocampus, your brain's memory center, more severely than many other areas. But don't worry, I'm not here to take away all life's pleasures. There are delicious alternatives that can satisfy that sweet craving without the damaging effects. Try unsweetened vanilla almond milk with a sprinkle of cinnamon, or blend unsweetened goat milk with a small handful of berries for natural sweetness. Many seniors find that after a few weeks away from artificial sweeteners and added sugars, their taste buds actually reset. That natural sweetness becomes more than enough. Martha, a 78-year-old former sweetened milk lover, shared her experience. I thought I'd miss my chocolate milk terribly, but after 3 weeks of blueberries in plain goat milk, the chocolate stuff actually tastes too sweet now. And my thinking feels clearer than it has in years. Remember, you don't need added sugar to make life sweet. Making smarter choices now can help ensure your brain stays as sharp as possible throughout your golden years. 7. The power of fermented soy and calcium-fortified oat milk. Gentle strength for seniors. Now that we understand which milks to avoid, let's explore 2 remarkable options that are revolutionizing bone health for seniors across the country. Fermented soy milk and calcium-fortified oat milk. These aren't just trendy alternatives. They're scientifically backed powerhouses, specifically beneficial for bodies over 60. Let me explain why these options might be exactly what your changing body needs. Fermented soy milk, particularly varieties like Tempe milk or those containing live cultures, offers something extraordinary for aging bodies. The fermentation process breaks down the natural compounds in soy, called phytates, that might otherwise block mineral absorption. This creates a bioavailable calcium source that your body can actually use efficiently, even as your digestive abilities change with age. Even more impressive, a landmark study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition followed seniors who switched to fermented soy milk for just 6 months. The results? Participants showed measurable increases in muscle strength and improvement in bone mineral density, a rare achievement for adults in their 60s and 70s. Richard, an 82-year-old former marathon runner, shared his experience. After 2 months of starting my day with fermented soy milk, I noticed I could grip my dumbbells more firmly during my morning exercises. By 6 months, I had added back 10 pounds to my bench press. At 82, my doctor was stunned. Equally impressive is calcium-fortified oat milk, which has become something of a revelation for seniors with sensitive digestive systems. Modern varieties are fortified with both calcium and vitamin D, a critical combination, as vitamin D is essential for calcium absorption, especially in aging bodies. The soluble fiber in oat milk delivers another remarkable benefit. It helps lower cholesterol levels while supporting the growth of beneficial gut bacteria. This improved gut health creates a virtuous cycle, enhancing your body's ability to absorb nutrients from all the foods you eat. Margaret, a 75-year-old art teacher who switched to calcium-fortified oat milk, described her transformation. Within 3 months, the chronic pain in my hands that had nearly ended my painting career began to subside. 6 months in, I was back to teaching full watercolor classes. My rheumatologist couldn't believe the difference in my inflammation markers. The beauty of both these options is their versatility. They work wonderfully in morning cereals, smoothies, coffee, or tea. They can replace dairy milk in cooking and baking with minimal recipe adjustments. Many seniors even report preferring their taste once they've made the switch. Imagine waking up with more energy, experiencing less pain with movement, and knowing that every sip is actually strengthening your body rather than working against it. That's the power of choosing the right milk for your aging body. As Dr. Ellen Chang, a geriatric nutrition specialist, puts it, choosing the right milk isn't just about avoiding harm. It's about actively nourishing your body for the decades of vibrant life ahead. 8. Your best choice starts today. Take control of your bone health. We've covered a lot of ground together, haven't we? Let's take a moment to recap what we've learned about making the best milk choices for your bone health after 60. First, we discovered that whole milk, despite its reputation, might actually be hindering calcium absorption due to its high saturated fat content. Through Linda's story, we saw how even decades of faithful milk consumption couldn't prevent bone loss when the wrong type of milk was chosen. We learned about the body's natural changes after 60 and how, as Dr. Carter gently reminded us, these changes aren't failures, but adaptations that require us to adapt our nutrition as well. Grace showed us the remarkable potential of goat milk. With its easier-to-digest proteins and anti-inflammatory properties that helped her reclaim an active life with her grandchildren, we uncovered the hidden dangers of flavored and sweetened milks, which can accelerate cognitive decline and promote inflammation throughout the body. And finally, we explored the scientific benefits of fermented soy milk and calcium-fortified oat milk, two powerful alternatives that don't just prevent harm, but actively contribute to rebuilding strength and vitality in aging bodies. The wonderful truth is that you don't have to accept declining bone health as an inevitable part of aging. With the right knowledge and simple adjustments to your daily habits, you can support your body's needs and continue building a strong foundation for an active, pain-free life. I'd love to hear from you now. What type of milk are you currently drinking? Are you inspired to try one of the alternatives we've discussed today? Share your thoughts in the comments below, or tell us about your own experience if you've already made the switch. If you have questions about transitioning to a different milk, drop those in the comments too. Our community is here to support each other, and your question might help someone else who's wondering the same thing. Remember, this isn't about following trends or making changes just for the sake of change. It's about listening to your body's evolving needs and responding with wisdom and care. As my grandmother used to say, it's never too late to make a better choice. Your bones and your future self will thank you for the simple change you make today. After all, the quality of your later years isn't determined by age alone, but by the small, consistent choices you make each day to honor your changing body. As you close this video and continue with your day, remember this: you deserve to move through the world without pain. You deserve to pick up your grandchildren, tend your garden, or dance at family weddings without fear of fractures. And sometimes, achieving that freedom begins with something as simple as what you pour into your morning glass. Here's to your health, your strength, and all the vibrant years ahead.